What's up, Theresa Cox?
What's up, Douglas Smith?
Nice to see you again. We were just in a meeting, everybody. We have a lot of meetings, so we see each other all the time. But
I have a lot of meetings on Wednesday.
yeah, Wednesdays are very heavy, but we are happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Trish will be joining us momentarily. She's, I think, working on her hair.
Clearly, I didn't care about mine.
Speak of the devil, ladies and gentlemen. She's gonna kill me. This is why Trish and I have to be across the country from each other. So
no, I don't know what you said about me, and I don't know anything. All I know is I've been sitting back there by myself. I even wrote you hello. I've been sitting back there because I didn't press enter.
Oh.
So I've been sitting back there dancing away, thinking, where the hell is Theresa and Doug? Well, I should have known you were bad mouthing me. Was it about the way I looked? Is that what you were bad mouthing?
No,
about what?
Thank you, Amy. You were bad mouthing my hair issue earlier. Amy, you have one little windstorm, and Doug,
Well, I just went to Thayer, took you to the shed to kill you.
Like
I help my husband with one thing. All hell breaks loose, Amy.
What's up, Melissa? What's up, Jill?
Hey, happy hump day, Jill.
Happy hump day.
Hump day.
Nice to see you all here. We have a very exciting topic today, ladies and gentlemen. I've been looking forward to this one forever.
This is mine.
No, it's important though. It's important though. We are talking about setting a pricing strategy. So, very important to your business.
Set it high and let it ride.
There you go. That's right.
We're all done here, folks. See you next week.
See you later.
Increase the price, find the right buyer.
Right? I mean, that totally can be a strategy. That's Theresa's basically.
Hey, Jim, what's up? Jim Williams looks like a new name. Nice to see you here.
Jim is on my Listing 101.
Okay, cool.
He's a faithful Listing 101 attendee.
That's nice. So the first thing that I will offer is don't do what I did when I started selling online. I listed all my stuff and it wasn't selling. So I was like, it's not selling. I better lower the price. And then, be paid. Trish, are you all right?
Be patient. Thank you.
That's my piece of advice.
I love that, Jill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. Jill and I are in the same boat. I also practice Kohl's pricing strategy. I start very high so that I can always have a sale and I can always start taking offer. So,
well, I'm going to wait. I'll come with my 30% off coupon.
Yeah. And then, I get it. But yeah, so I think, pricing is one of those things that a lot of us do really differently. Some of us have a really specific strategy. There are people that Theresa and I know who start 1 month doing everything at the 99, $20.99, $40.99, whatever it is. And then the next month it may go down to 98. So they know it's a way for them to track how long they've had it. Some people do a lot of things with their pricing. Some people, I know I don't do any of these things. Some people are very specific about when they put things on clearance, when they put how long they have things and stuff like that. So, there are a lot of different quote unquote systems out there. Yeah.
So where's a good spot to start?
Well, I think the first thing you have to do is know how much you paid for something.
For sure. I always say your profit is made when you buy something.
Exactly. Your money is made on the buy. I agree completely.
See, I like Jill's strategy. I don't have time to worry about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Amen. Preach it, girl. Preach it.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So cost of goods, figuring out exactly what you paid for something, or if I don't figure out to the item, I mean, you do that, right, Theresa? You figure out, exactly what each item specifically cost.
Yeah, and my retail arbitrage, I always put it in the in my SKU or in my cost of goods. I do it in the SKU for Amazon stuff just because I need to be able to see it when I'm repricing stuff, which I don't do on Amazon. But yeah, for me, most of the time it's, I don't know, let me list that shirt for $34.99. I don't look up much stuff.
I don't either, really, but I am very cognizant of what I paid for something. And I try to keep my costs very low so that I don't really worry about what I'm selling it for. I never worry about like losing money. That is not something that, if you're somebody who's spending up for your items, if you're somebody who's buying something for $50 and hoping that you could sell it for 100, you know, then maybe what you pay for things comes a little bit more into play with the pricing.
And there's other stuff that factors in, right? Because you have, you know, your operational expenses,
Yeah.
what, like that stuff you can and should track. Not everybody, not a lot of people do, but I mean, it's definitely an option.
Well, I mean, I have like a certain price that I put on every item. What do you do, Theresa?
I don't have a certain, I mean, so a lot of my stuff that I'm listing and stuff that's selling right now doesn't have a cost of good because it's my own personal stuff. Then I'm reaching into my mom's stuff. So if it's, I'm not out thrifting, I'm not garage selling. So it's either retail arbitrage or personal stuff.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
you know, I'm in the, I don't care, just sell it.
Yep.
And that's, I mean, that's how I am too. Because my garage, my storage, I know it's hilarious, but no, that's how I am too. It's just like, I don't know. Okay, here, do a little pricing research, you know, etc.
Okay, so what about all right, so we have the item, we know what it costs. Let's say it's $2. We're $2 in, I paid $1 for it. I'm going to put $1 on it for operational costs, shippings, whatever, right? Materials. I'm into it for $2. So then I got to figure out what it's worth. Do you utilize, you know, do a comparative? Do you look up things? You should when you first start, especially. I don't want to give anyone the idea that this isn't important because Theresa and I are both going to say we don't really do it. But when you start, looking up every item is very smart to make sure that you know your product, that you know what you're selling. So if you're new to this, this is absolutely something you should be doing.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's always a challenge, Jim, trying to keep those costs of goods, those COGS, as they say, low. It's getting harder to do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but if you, so with List Perfectly, I like List Perfectly because I can put my cost of goods in right into the listing and I don't have to put it into my SKU. But it's, I mean, there are people that will not pay more than $5 for an item for anything.
Right.
And you know, some golf shoes, I will pay $50 a pair for, which for me, paying $50 for a pair of shoes is a lot. But they're $200 shoes. Now I could look at it and go, well, I can buy $30 shoes and sell them for $150. My $30 shoes that I can sell for $150 are much better ROI for me than the $50 that I sell for $200. And so because that extra $50 that cost me $20 is mostly eaten up in fees. So, you know, you have to, I know this because I've done it a million times. And so it just depends. Let's see. Do you still price high for those personalized? Yeah, I do. I mean, I love selling a skirt that I wore for 5 years. I wore 15 years ago in my work wardrobe on a 5-year rotation for $40. I love that. And I love selling, I sold a red, I don't know, it was a beaded wreath or whatever. I hung it on my pantry door at Christmas time. I paid $8 for it. It still had the $8 tag on it when I sold it. I sold it for $60. Why did I sell it for $60? Because I listed it for $60. If I would have listed it for $20, I would have sold it for $20.
Okay, so I would like to say I also price high, but I'm not like Theresa. I price high so that I can come down. I try to get a lot of velocity out of my store. So, you know,
but you're buying bundles and carloads of clothes. Yeah.
Totally.
So this was my personal stuff. And I know a lot of you on here. I've been tracking, I was doing a blog that didn't last very long, selling my life on eBay. And I was listing my, all my personal stuff. And I tracked it and I made, last year I hit $100,000 selling my personal Christmas items, the stuff from my backyard, office stuff, anything, whatever. I hit $100,000 selling just my personal stuff. Now I sold that house in 2016. I didn't actually really get a good chunk of the listings done until 2019, 2020 when COVID hit. But my playroom with a bunch of games and puzzles sold like crazy during COVID. So it's possible to do that and just thrift from your house. So anybody that's new to this, we always say, start with the clothes that are in your closet that you don't wear anymore, because clothes are easy to ship. Start with the stuff around your house. We all have too much stuff. Sell it. Because Trish, we were talking about that curtain behind Trish. We think she should sell that on eBay.
And I have like 5 of them or 6 of them.
Yeah, because I didn't somebody look it up and find that it was worth it.
Yeah, they don't make, it's an IKEA print. They don't make it anymore, so they're worth something. But I got them in the other room. I got them all over the place. They were in my store when I bought it, so I don't even have any money into it. You know. You go. So yeah.
Wow, Veta. That's a feat. That's a Guinness Book of World Records right there.
I'm with Veta. That's what I try to also. I try to keep my cost of goods under $2. It's getting more difficult, but it can be done with, depending on where you are in the country, of course, and some people who use the bins, at this point I've been selling personal items from a couple of big buyouts where my cost of goods were under $2. Not sure how I'll handle it if I have to go to thrift stores to source. Exactly. Jill, are there bins near you? I don't know the answer to that question. Or do you have to go to Vegas?
I think she has to go to Vegas.
Yeah, see, and I live in Massachusetts, and it's the clock. I haven't heard it in a while. I'm in Massachusetts, and there is no bins here, so you have to go to New Hampshire. Which, when you're here, Massachusetts, they're all small states. It's not like living in California and having to go somewhere else. But I would go and stay overnight. I would shop all one day, stay overnight. Of course, my husband works for Marriott, so I could do it relatively cheap. And then I would shop the next day until I had 800 pounds before I came home, because I didn't want to do it very often. I only did it every 2 months. Yeah. Somebody asked me.
Trish. Yeah. You buy online, right?
I have in the past. I don't really right now, Melissa.
What is QQ? I'm sorry to interrupt. What's QQQ?
Question.
Oh, duh.
So yeah, I used to buy online pre-pandemic, and then during the pandemic, I would buy bales, 100-pound bales of clothing. They got harder to get during the pandemic. And now they're even harder to get, because you can still get them out of Florida, out of Miami, but we had one here in New Jersey, and so the cost of shipping wasn't terrible, especially if I bought 400, 500, 600, 600 pounds at a time. Getting them wasn't that bad. But now it's a little bit more difficult, so I haven't really been doing that. But I will try anything once. So if I find another source, I'll definitely try it again.
So here's a question. What about operational expenses? How do you calculate your operation? What do you calculate in your operational expenses?
Are we asking me? Okay. I was going to say, because I have a list.
No, but so for me, good. You have your eBay store. So people will think, this is how much I pay for a poly mailer. This is how much I pay for this. And I think that that's important. I don't calculate my cost of my eBay store in my stuff. It's just my monthly expense, like my monthly rent. If I had a thrift store, it would be just this monthly rent, and you'd have to cover that cost. But I don't go down to the minutia of every item.
So I went to the minutia one month and kind of came up with a percentage, and then figured out like a blanket price, and I add $1 to every item as my operational expenses. It's really higher than that now because of Liz. My daughter Liz works for me, just so everybody knows who the hell I'm talking about. And because I work for Liz Perfectly full time, and this is kind of like, a second gig, and she's working it full time, I don't really pay myself. So it's kind of just doing it to pay her, which is fine at the moment. And it still keeps me in the game. And I still work on the business every single day, because while she is a lovely girl, she's not really interested in reselling, right? Like, she's just doing what I tell her to do. So I'm still making all the decisions and doing all the things, She's just physically making the listings and shipping the stuff out. Yeah.
The
Well, that's
bales you bought in your area, were they all Adidas tracksuits?
All of them. All Adidas tracksuits. Yep, from New Jersey. You are so right. You know, like he thinks he said that joke. He's been waiting to say that joke since I said they came from New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen. He's been sitting on this. I'm sure he was trying to. Oh, and Carla goes, "Good one, Doug." Yeah.
Thank you, Carla.
Yeah, Carla, don't encourage him.
Yeah, so I think the big factor in the operational expenses and your cost of goods, I mean, 90% of that is where you live, what you can source. You know, somebody could say that my operational expenses increased because I now have a warehouse. And so how am I calculating that? I'm not. I'm just not.
Ooh.
I mean,
Exactly, Todd. That's what's all behind that curtain. All Sopranos items. Don't tell anyone.
Hey, Annie, how you doing?
But it's an interesting thing. Getting things online shipped to you is interesting because it can be feast or famine. You know, you can get bundles or boxes full of stuff that's awesome and you can't believe it, and you only paid $4 an item or $3 an item, and then you get another one and you are like, what am I gonna do with this crap, right? So it's a gamble, and I would not, Melissa, I wouldn't spend a few $100 if you're not okay with losing the few $100, especially at the beginning, because it's going to take you a while to find some place that's good that you can rely on. Crystal from the Finery, she sources some online, like half and half retail arbitrage. It's a lot of shelf pulls, things like that, Melissa. So I think it's easier to get that kind of stuff than it is like real thrift.
And by the way, Melissa says LMAO.
Ayo.
So exactly. Thank you, Todd. So what about profit margins, Theresa? What are you trying to make, or do you not even think about that?
No, this is easy for me with mostly my Amazon stuff, because that's where, you know, my eBay stuff, I do list all my most of my Amazon stuff on eBay and all the other platforms. But for my Amazon stuff, this is why I really like the List Perfectly, where it gives you my net profit when your net profit when you ship.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's different. If I was out sourcing and listing and sending it all in every day like I was before COVID, I would be okay with 30% margins.
Okay.
I want close to 200%. So if I spend $30 on a pair of shoes, I want $60 to $80 net profit. So I'm very picky about what I buy at, when I'm doing Amazon stuff. That doesn't mean that I won't pick something up. I will scan stuff when I'm in the store. I am not a person that researches when I go. I mean, I do have a scanner. I have a Ring scanner. I scan with my app because sometimes things aren't listed on Amazon or whatever. I'm restricted. I do that for Amazon. But if I am out looking at stuff, I was just somewhere I don't know, there was a case of Johnson wax. And I showed it to my brother. I said, hey, I said, I bet you this is worth some money. And I looked it up and it was like $74. And he's like, why is it worth so much? And I said, I don't know, just because it's not available anymore or something like that.
So,
but I didn't pick it up. I didn't bring it home with me because I didn't want to deal with it.
Right, but let me ask you a question. Most people here, I'm assuming, are not doing Amazon, right? Like most people here are reselling. So is that skill that you're talking about, looking things up and using a scanner, are those skills transferable to the other platforms?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you are somebody starting out and you need to, let's just say you have $100, you're not just going to buy willy-nilly. You're going to take the time to look it up. What's the sell-through rate? How, all this sort of stuff, because you don't want to sit on that. If you want to invest $100 and turn that over, you have to know that stuff. You and I have been doing this a long time now, that if we were to buy something for $100 and it's set for 6 months, it wouldn't kill us.
Correct. But I mean, when I started, I mean, most people know this, but I started with a very, very unsuccessful consignment store. And so I had free, I definitely need it there, Doug. That music is so accurate. It's not even funny how accurate that music is. But
And every time Trish says it, she says, and it failed miserably.
It did fail miserably. But what I was going to say about it is that because everything I already owned it, right? And I there was no choice. I already owned it. It was either donated or put it online. I just put it all online. Right. So to be quite honest with everybody, that skill of figuring out sell-through rate, looking up comps, and figuring out what is a good thing to buy or not, I didn't acquire that skill for like 3 years because that's how much crap I had already owned, right?
Right.
If somebody is new to this, those are skills that become invaluable at the beginning.
100%.
Learn how to do your sell-through rate. Look and find out who your biggest competitors are. Look and figure out, what are they doing that you could do better? What are you doing better than them? What are they doing that's better than you? Really study what other people are doing, because let me tell you, sometimes it's like a game changer when you realize, oh crap, why am I doing it like this when I could be doing, I'll give you an example. I, for a very, very long time, used a mannequin, a full-fledged mannequin. What a freaking pain in the butt to get it, dressed and undressed. And in the arms, and they would snap in and they'd catch your skin, and it was miserable. And, one day I watched somebody who was doing flat lays, and I was like, what the hell is a flat lay? And then I sat on the floor and did like 50 items in like 6 hours. And I thought, well, then, okay, here we go. I can understand how now you can make some money, because it took so long. So do I still use a mannequin? I use one of those half ones that has like just the front of a body and you hang it on the wall. I'll do that for things that need it. Dresses, certain things that just look really bad without any shape. The rest of it, I was putting pants on a mannequin, Theresa. Pants. You know how miserable that is? It's miserable. So once I learned that I didn't have to do that, and if I didn't start looking at other people's stuff, I never would have figured that out. So, look at your competition, look and see what they're doing. It really can make a difference.
See, and when you talk about, you didn't know about sell-through, you just had what you had. Some of my favorite things of selling my personal stuff is, I don't know, let me just see if it'll sell.
You already own it. It's different than, spending money.
Right. No.
Yeah.
But the point is that if you're new, or if you don't have capital, or your funds are tight or whatever, look around your house, and let me just tell you, somebody thought it was good enough to make it. A manufacturer, a retail store, somebody thought it was good enough to buy it. You bought it. Like, somebody else is going to want this or need this. So even the stupidest stuff that I don't think that I would put online, that won't sell, I put it up. Those are the fun things for me. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that sold. So for a beginner or somebody like that, those are fun things. Invest a little time. You have time, you don't have money. Invest time, and you'll be shocked at what sells.
Kim is funny, man. Chris Dunnard, who I gotta tell you, Chris, I hope I said Dunrid. Dunrid? Is that how you would say your last name? I would say Dunnard, and I just realized there's an R in it. Chris, first of all, I'd like to say this out loud, because I've never really said this, but I think it all the time. Chris is so thoughtful in what she says. She comes to Mastermind almost every day, and she's so thoughtful with the things that she says and she puts out there. And if, I just think she has a really good grasp. She's relatively new at all of this, but she has such a good grasp on like business in general, and like the whole Canva thing. And like, she's just so good. So I just want to throw that out there. But what I wanted to say is, Chris, when you said you shoot for 10 times ROI, you're factoring in the shipping. I'm wondering why. Are you doing free shipping? I'm wondering why the shipping's in there. What am I missing? No, it's true. She comes out with the best stuff. She really does.
She was just on Listing 101, and I don't even remember what we were talking. Oh, we were talking about just the different plans and having, Listing Pro Plus for the end of the year. And I said, she's going to figure it out. She's going to have.
Oh yeah. Totally.
And that's like, I'm really interested in her journey because,
she makes money on this.
Okay. That makes sense, Chris. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. I was just wondering what the, I totally agree with you, Theresa, Douglas, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just thinking, factoring stuff into cost of goods. So, and I don't think a lot of people do this. I rarely have because, again, you guys know I've got stuff sitting around that I just want to get rid of. But factoring in the fee structures from the platforms, factoring those into your costs as well.
Yeah, or out of your costs if you're selling on Mercari. I mean, that's a whole other interesting thing,
Yeah.
And I am all about mental math, and like eBay was, 12 point something %. I just rounded up to 15 so I could do the mental math. Now, to be honest with you, I just do a flat 20% because by the time you pay the fees and all this other stuff on eBay, I know Poshmark is 20%. Etsy's lower, but for my mental math and simplicity, I just figured 20%.
Yep, I do also.
Yeah.
And so what do you do at Posh? Do you do 20 again? Or I up it to
20% at Posh because Posh is just 20%.
I know, but so you don't do anything extra on Posh, like advertising or anything? Yeah. Okay.
No advertising. No. I mean, in my 20% on eBay includes a standard shipping fee. I mean, a standard ad fee.
Yeah.
And I do make money on shipping. I sent a screenshot to Pat earlier because he's the one that's been helping me sell on Etsy. And I sold a box of cassette tapes on Etsy and they paid $45 shipping. I'm like, how is this thing $45 shipping? And it's only going to Kentucky. And then the second question was, why did somebody pay $45?
Well, they really wanted them.
So like with Chris, so I'm going to make a lot more money on that.
Yeah.
But my shipping rates are all based, and I need to look at that one because it could be more than 4 pounds and it did calculated. But my shipping is all based on weight. So, and I sold some picture frames this week where I charged them $13 because it was over 2 pounds, or $16 because it was over 2 pounds, and it only cost me $6.88.
Oh, interesting.
But I don't give refunds on shipping.
That whole ground. Well, okay. Anyone who's new, this is going to be my other big thing. I'm going to talk about new people. This comes up semi-regularly on Facebook. Any Facebook groups you guys are in, you're going to see this question over and over and over again. Someone paid $9 for shipping and it only cost me $6. Should I refund the money? No, do not do that. Do not do that. Do not do that. They agreed to pay a certain price. They paid it. Take it and put it towards your profit. I understand sometimes you guys feel guilty, but they have no idea what things cost us. They don't know. And anyways, it's not just shipping. It's shipping. It's your bubble wrap. It's your poly mailer. You can think about it as gas to the post office if you need to, but don't refund. Don't give people a partial shipping refund. Now, if you put in that it's 5 pounds and it turns out that it was supposed to be 5 ounces. Like if there's a mistake, that's different. Okay. I'm just talking about a regular old, it ended up being way less than I thought. Exactly, Kim. We earned that extra $3. Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, somebody had the question about how do you make money on shipping, and that's it. Like I charged $13. It only ended costing me $6.89. So I made, $6 on that package. I did do something where I just said I wouldn't do is I did refund somebody $13 shipping last week because she bought 2 of the same item. So it got $13 twice. If she had bought it in one purchase, it was $13 with one and $6 for the second. And anyways, it was a long back and forth pen pal situation. And so I just said to her, I would refund. She wanted the $6. I said, I will refund you the entire $13.
I think that's perfectly fair. And I also, that isn't really what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying that even though we both say we will never do it, there are instances where,
absolutely.
And had she not reached out to me, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Mm-hmm.
She bought 2 of them. One of them, she bid an offer on it, made an offer, and I accepted. The other one, she just bought outright. And so it wasn't until I was shipping it that I realized it was going to the same person.
And 5 years ago, she would have written us before she paid for them and would say, can you combine those into one invoice and I'll pay it. But now, because of the way that eBay is, she was probably forced to pay them. Forced is a relatively strong word, but you know what I mean? Prompted to pay them. And so there was no way to do that. So I don't think that's the same. So what about dynamic pricing? Do you do that, Theresa?
I do not. It's way too much time. Way too much energy. They, like for Amazon, they have pricing services, but it's a monthly fee. I don't have enough on Amazon right now. I think I only have about 450 items on Amazon, where it's like playing the stock market. These reprices will go in and reprice your stuff however you set it. And I've never been big on that, but if I ever got back into Amazon full time, I definitely would do that. So that is more of a price adjustment software tool.
So the only time I've done it, I'm sorry, Doug, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and this is just something, I mean, it's one of those things, is like, you can certainly do it. So a lot of people do, but you know, if it doesn't, try it. If it doesn't get you results, don't do it again.
But I was going to say, the only time I've done it was when, this is terrible, and I'm going to just tell you all the truth, was when somebody died. I had a shirt or something, and it was a band shirt. I don't remember who it was. And I said to Liz, hey, she wasn't working for me at the time, but I said, hey, will you go in and raise that price?
And we all know that's, yeah.
And she's like, what is this, a tax? I'm like, yes, it is. Just raise it.
That's supply and demand, though. People are going to be looking for that stuff.
Yeah.
When Maya Angelou died, I told the story before, I had a cookbook, and I loved that cookbook, but I listed it and I sold it for $105. And a year later, I turned around and bought that same book for $10.
Yeah. So that's the only time I do it. I don't do the regular, like if it's seasonal, I don't put it up during the season.
And so here's the thing about seasonal. Seasonal, we all know, things sell all year round. I am still selling footed fleece pajamas. Not as much as I was selling at Christmas time, but I still sell 3 or 4 of them a week, which is a lot for June. But another way to look at seasonal items is I would buy Christmas stuff. I'd go on January 1st and buy a bunch of Christmas closeout stuff. And I would buy, I don't know, 3 or 4 years in a row, I would go to Walmart and I would buy the spray can of snow. And I think Walmart's price was $1.38 and you get it 90% off. So I was paying like 38 cents a piece. But did I sell that for $1.68 or whatever? I sold it for $12.99 a can. And I would buy whatever I could. And it was inevitable that I was sold out by July 4th. Why? Because people doing photo shoots for magazines or whatever, they're doing their Christmas stuff in May, June, and July. And you can't go to Walmart and buy canned snow in May, June, or July. And so that really taught me a lesson too. Should I list this stuff for Christmas now? Absolutely, you should list it.
I do exactly what Jill said. I, though, will end up sometimes taking a lower price when it's not in season. I do the exact opposite of what you're saying. I do exactly what Jill says. Like somebody offers you money for a Christmas party. It's Christmas. Take it. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like instead of having the opposite idea of like Christmas in July or why do they want this right now? No, I would sell it to them for less like Jill would.
Let's go back to something real quick though. What is the connection between Maya Angelou and the cookbook?
She did a cookbook. She wrote a cookbook with a bunch of poetry in it with her recipes in it.
Oh, was it Cooking Caged Birds?
Yeah.
Oh,
you sat there, you thought of that. You even rewound this whole thing so you could go back.
It's true. I came up with that. I wanted to do an obscure.
It's totally true. He does this all the time. He literally waits and then comes in with something. And what's the best is he will text me like a one line of something. And it's like a test. If I know what this means, I get like extra points that day.
That is true.
It is true.
What movie is this from?
What movie is this? I'm like, and then one day he just did it to me yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And oh, thank you, Amy. See, Amy's my slap list girl. Amy has a list of people I get to slap the next time I see them. They're just little love slaps. It's not hard. Oh, if we're gonna start with the cricket.
Right. Is that your kitchen?
You know I'm gonna end up getting one too. Okay, So let's talk about let's talk about using analytics. So we kind of already touched on this, but the idea of being able to get 3 years now of data through eBay research, which till a very short time ago was TerraPeak.
Product research is what it's called now.
Yeah, product research. What did I say? eBay research?
Yeah.
Okay, I was close.
Close enough. Close enough.
So let's just say this. I do think that you guys should be aware that this service is now there. It used to, you had to pay for it. And then for a long time after eBay bought it, it was only a year's worth of stuff, right? And now it's 3 years.
And they're hopefully are going to add it, like they'll talk about it in Q4 this year of adding 2024 data, which will make it 4 years. So that's the goal with the product research team, is to keep the old data there and keep adding the new data.
Oh, awesome. So they're not going to just be 3 years. It will go to 4, then 5. And
yeah, that's what Shelly was saying when she was on the listing party.
Oh, that's awesome. Because, you know, there are a lot of people.
It's not guaranteed. That team can only propose it. It's not guaranteed.
Yeah, I get it. Let me just say this, though. If you're in a very niche thing, antiques, very, you know, something that isn't sold often, you may need to go outside of eBay's research to be able to get that information. You know, WorthPoint has a service that if you're somebody who's selling in those kind of niches, may be worth looking into, depending on what you're doing. For a normal thrift store seller, I'm going to say that 99% of the time, eBay's research is probably enough.
I agree.
Yeah. TerraPeak never made sense, but now none of what?
None of us can get it out of our minds.
TerraPeak, I know. Like I just. Sorry. See, I think I need stronger glasses, Jill, because I couldn't read that. I know now it's all I can say, but
I understand Jill's language.
Good thing, because I was lost for a second. None of us. Thank you, Jill. So I really think that, like, I know most of us sell on multiple platforms, but I always go back to eBay has the most rich data. So has the best analytics.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh, I lost my notes.
The next one I'll read it to is consider customer perception.
Ooh, customer's perception, or I thought
value perception, psychological pricing.
I thought it was perceived value. I skipped it, but yes, customer perception. Oh, consider perceived value. Yes, we all know that. So a lot of my pricing strategy comes from perceived value, which is if Trish and I both have the same yellow necklace that we bought for $3, and Trish says, "Oh, I only paid $3 for this. I'm gonna list it for $5.99 and see if it sells." I'm gonna say, "Oh, this is a great necklace. You can't buy it anymore," and I'm gonna list it for $19.99. And there are shoppers in the world, I don't think these are resellers, but there are shoppers in the world that will look at both of those listings and say, something must be wrong with Trish's, or else it wouldn't be priced at $5.99. I'm going to buy Theresa's at $19.99.
Agreed. That is definitely a thing.
Those are the shoppers I'm going for.
And I kind of aim in the middle. I think I'm a little bit more moderate than Theresa, but I also have a lower monetarily. I sell things for a lot lower than she does, and mine more is a volume-based business. Yep. So for me, you know, I would rather sell it for the $15 and keep it moving. I do not want to be the lowest by any means, but I don't want to sit on things maybe as long as he will.
Here's the other thing too, and I've done this a lot where I will sell something and then I'll go and search to see what's sold, and mine is by far not the lowest price. Mm-hmm. So shoppers do not know how to shop. A lot of mine is because it's got a better SEO, my titles, my pictures, my history on eBay. My history on eBay does play in my favor in search, just because I have I have a selling history. I think that all those things help. And somebody new can sell the same thing with the same pictures for a lower price, and somebody isn't going to see their listing.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it's an interesting thing, and you just kind of have to find your sweet spot that works for you and your business. And what works for you, for whatever reason, what works for you is not going to work for somebody else that has the exact same thing. It doesn't seem like it, but it just isn't. And there's just so many variables that we can't control. Number one being eBay's algorithm, Poshmark's algorithm, Macari's algorithm. I've said this in Mastermind a million times. If they would tell us exactly what they wanted, we would all be millionaires.
Yeah.
But I'm not even sure they even really know. So, we've got to do what we think is working, trial and error, what we think works best for our business, and then double down on that, in my opinion.
And here's the other thing. Somebody can be selling video games and doing really, really well. And I can go, oh my gosh, I want to make all that money and go sell video games. And they're never going to sell for me. And that is very true. I can sell stuff. And I don't do it now, but there was a time when scrubs were really big. And it's like, okay, well, I'm glad you can sell scrubs because I can't sell them. And so even though they're still selling, for whatever reason, my store isn't attracting those buyers.
So Kathy just wrote, I'm really enjoying the research on eBay to find good comps. Then use them for the merge feature and list perfectly, a huge time saver. Actually, Theresa and I were just talking about merge today. And Kathy, I think you'll have to talk about it in Mastermind sometime, because I don't think that neither Theresa or I do it as well or as much as we should, maybe. Because I think you're right. I think it could be really awesome.
Yeah, I don't use the merge feature.
I don't either. I got to, though.
Oh my, I just bought rag bags, 10 of them, $6, and they had insane clown posse concert shirts and hockey jerseys. Comps are 20 a shirt and 200 for the jersey.
Awesome job. So Chanel, please tell us what a rag bag is. Does that mean, I'm wondering if that's regional, because I wouldn't use that term up here.
Yeah, we call them rag houses. There's a couple in Phoenix.
Which are what, like that take literal
the bulk bundle.
Yeah.
The bulk bundle where you see them on Instagram or whatever, where it's just that strapped bundle of cloth.
So what I used to buy.
Yeah.
But what I bought was sorted and graded. I'm assuming a rag is it different there?
Well, I mean, so like the one that I was looking at to buy, it's like you can buy a bundle of jackets, 50 jackets for, $150 or whatever it might be. And the one that's here that I was looking at, they actually have everything laid out, and they have a camera above, and they just video record it. And that's the listing.
So hers, she said rag bags are the clothes they toss.
Oh.
Meaning from, bin quality, unculled clothing. Okay, that's kind of what I thought. Yeah. So they're unsorted. They're ungraded. Interesting. Okay. Good for you, Chanel.
Awesome. That's a different kind of treasure hunt.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Trish, didn't I learn about the term rags from you?
Yeah, we did. But the rags that I'm talking about, I've never heard rag bags. Rags where I'm from we have rag textile bins. So you go and you put your rags in. They're not like what you would bring to Salvation Army, right? They're ripped, extra stained, really gross. And then they shred those up and they use it to make new material. They take out the cotton, they take out the synthetic fibers with a machine.
Okay.
And they shred the cotton fibers, the natural fibers. They get rid of the polyester, and then they make yarn out of it. They make new cloth out of it. But I've never seen it like that. That's why I asked her.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You guys do some weird stuff on the East Coast.
Well, maybe true, but okay, so do you do anything for international markets? I do not. I don't even think about it.
I do. I like the list perfectly, where you can put your inches in, it converts it to centimeters.
Oh, no. I apologize. I do that. I meant towards pricing.
So I mean, I do ship on eBay and Etsy international. I ship it myself.
Me too. Yep.
My and I just have flat rates. Anything under 2 pounds is $19.99. I just have a thing because I'm all about ease of shipping, ease of listing, I mean. And I haven't had to, I came across a price sheet from like 2015, and I was shocked that my prices that I used in 2015 for international are still the same for 20 today. And I still make money on international shipping. So.
But I mean, I was asking is you don't price different. You don't have it.
No, the pricing, no.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Yeah.
Okay. I will price things sometimes I'll have my VA increase the price on my Poshmark stuff just because they like to be everybody wants a deal over there, and definitely increase my prices on Etsy.
Okay.
And but other than that, the price that I put in my List Perfectly catalog is what I sell across what I put on every other platform.
I don't price any different.
Yeah.
How often Doug, let's ask you, how often do you go in and look at your store and think about your prices and reevaluate them?
Well, I'm in an interesting spot right now because I'm still just rebuilding. So I'm still doing my stuff in LP. So I would say, I mean, when I had stuff listed, I would say pretty regularly, but too much early on and then just adjusted probably monthly.
Never basically ever look at it.
No, those prices are what and then I'll do sales. I'll send offers to watchers, but I never adjust. I shouldn't say never. I did a test because here's my note. So if I marked it down to 95, that meant that it was the same price. If I marked it down to 98, that means I reduced the price. And so 95 was like, let me just lower this price from $29.99 to $29.95. I may have changed the pictures or something. But the reduced price was that if it was $49.99 and I reduced it down to $29, I put $29.98. It made no difference in what sold. I didn't sell any more $29.98. I didn't sell any more in things that ended 95. It made zero difference.
Okay, so what do you think about psychologically, like the $19.99 versus $20?
I do the $19.99. I get it. It's a psychological thing. If I'm sending an offer, I'll do $20. Mostly so I know that it was an offer and not a price reduction or not, I do everything that ends in 9s and 4s. So $24.99, $29.99, $34.99, $39, like that's my pricing. Occasionally I'll do a $12 thing, but that's not very often.
I asked Jill if she could buy them from, is it Deseret? Is that how you say that word, Theresa?
Oh, Deseret Industries. Yeah.
Yeah. She said that Deseret Industries has bags for like rags, but they're cut up. They're cut up. So they're not worth like, yeah, but anyone can buy them. That's what I was asking. I've only been to one Deseret Industries. And what's interesting about it is I walk in, I guess I must have been in Vegas, I wasn't with you. I was with Katie and Vicky. There was like 6 of us. Oh, were you there? I think you were there.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, but I went in and I wasn't going to buy because I'm sending stuff back home, right? I wasn't going to buy stuff. But there were 4X Hawaiian shirts. You remember? You were there.
I don't think I was there, but I know I would buy a 4X Hawaiian shirt too.
So I called Julie, my friend Julie, Ohio Tiki Nuts. I called her and I said, they're 4X, do you want them? She's like, yes. And I was like, how many? She's like, all of them. I was like, okay. So I just buy all these 4X shirts for Julie. I end up buying stuff for Julie all the time. She's good though. She buys stuff for me. Here's the thing. It was in Phoenix, Jill. Were you there, Jill? Was it after camp?
Was it after camp?
I'm telling you, my brain.
You know what? Yeah, because I think we did go to a Deseret Industries.
What I was gonna say to you guys is it's really good to have friends, and I mean this sincerely, who maybe are in this with you, but they don't sell the exact same thing you do, or because Julie will call me every once in a while and say, I can get clothes for 50 cents. Do you want these? And I just say yes. And then the next time she comes to Massachusetts, she'll bring them all with her and I'll give her the money. And I will go to tiki bars when I'm out on vacation or wherever, and I buy her what she wants, and then I just give them to her the next time she sees me. But it's really good to have somebody who kind of is like on the lookout for a really good deal for you.
Sure.
Yeah. So maybe Chanel, you need to be looking through the bags before they get donated.
Yeah, that's a whole, there's so many different ways to source, and there's so many different ways. And I think that, again, your profit is made when you source. And I think that your pricing strategy, you can have a strategy, but it's going to be different. You know, if Trish has landed a truckload of clothes and her goal is to just get them sold out, her pricing, her listed and out, her pricing strategy is going to be different than if she's got minimal sourcing opportunities and doing it online or whatever. So, you know, going back into the setting your pricing strategy, I think there's a lot of variables. I think we touched on a lot of things that you have to think about. But what I do, everyone jokes about it because I price my stuff high. And what Trish does and what somebody else does, I mean, there's a ton of factors that go into it.
Yeah, there is. And it also, I just would like to say this, it's also one of the things we wrote down were about bundles and bulk pricing. So, you know, if you're going to, you know, people make bundle deal all the time. We think of the word bundle, especially for Poshmark, you know, so you make less per item on some things, but you're selling more at quantity at one time. So, you know, if you, and then like on eBay has the ability to like buy 3, get 1 free, or you can do all those kinds of coupons now with different, or sales also.
Right.
So, you know, just think about it. And I also think, you know, 2 things. I think when we first start, sometimes we undervalue what we're doing and we undervalue how much we're selling things for. So that's another reason why doing comps can be so important. But I think Theresa's right. Don't be afraid to be the highest, you know, the most expensive. If you're the most expensive, you're the most expensive. And if it sits for too long, then you can move it along. The other thing to think about is how much how much money and how much space do you have? You know, if you have the space, Theresa and I are both pretty lucky in the sense that we have space that we can sit on things that may take a little bit longer to sell. But if you're somebody where space is at a real premium, maybe you don't want to do that and you would rather take $5 less to to get something else new in that space. And also money. Theresa talked about spending $100 on a pair of shoes to get what, $250? Is that what you said?
$50 to get 200.
$50 to get 200. You know, some people aren't going to spend the 50. I, for a very, very long time, was in a position where I wasn't spending $50 on anything.
Me too, exactly.
Right. So when you're new, if you're in that position, don't think about that. Think about what's the least you can spend for the highest ROI.
Shop the clearance section.
Right. You know, and look at dollar days, go to yard sales, things like that.
Yard sales are great to get started.
Kathy, I underpriced in the beginning. List Perfectly groups have taught me how to properly price. Good job, Kathy. Yeah, because it's true. I mean, we undervalue what we have. It's just how it starts. We basically all do it. And then you have those crazy people where you go to their yard sale and they think everything's worth $100, you know?
Yeah. I do go, there's a couple of neighborhood community yard sales, and I do go to the one that was in my mom's neighborhood, and then the one was in my old neighborhood, because I like confined space, lots of garage sales, and I can only do it twice a year. But if you walk in there and you hear the guy say, I don't know, quarter, I don't know, then I will spend the time to look through every single thing.
Yep.
Bundle it up. Okay, $5.
Yep. Thank you. Exactly.
And my biggest sales, aside from a car and a trailer that I sold, was was at my 55 and older community at my mom's house, and there was 2 Ralph Lauren umbrellas. I don't know. I'm not a Ralph Lauren. Something caught my eye. It was the fact that they had a gold logo on the handle and it was still covered in the plastic. $2. I bought them both. I opened them up and they were very faded from being folded, and it was faded marks. I sold one of them for $540 and the other one for $400. I
What
have
in God's name?
no idea. I had zero idea what I picked up.
So Tiffany in Vegas, Opportunity Village, $1 color tag on Mondays. Goodwill's $1 color tag Mondays too. See, that's awesome to know that.
Yeah, you need to know that. So my point in that is that you go there for $2. I didn't know what I was getting into. Probably took me a year to list them, but it wasn't a risk.
No.
At $2, right. And this is what you want to say. Don't look up everything at $2. It's not a risk. Take a chance. You can sell it for $5. You know that. So,
right. Yeah, I mean, and that's basically why I, still buy kind of the way I buy, because there's no risk. Even if I have to cull so much of it, there's not really a wish. I mean, a risk. I was listening. I was reading Angela's. I wish we had those near me. We don't really have garage sales in my area.
Oh, interesting.
Angela, where do you live? So up here in the Northeast, we have a very short season, very short, which hasn't even really started yet, and it's already mid-June.
Our garage sale season is over.
Yeah, but how long is it when you have it?
March. Well, actually, the one in Trilogy is in February. So I think it's February and October, February, September, whatever. But it is, it's only. People have them. They're just not as plentiful.
Plentiful.
Yeah. Downtown San Diego. Interesting.
Who's in San Diego, Dougie?
Interesting. Yeah, I think Melissa's in Oceanside. Angela's in San Diego. We might have to all go to the bins together or something.
Yes, go to the bins and take footage. I'll make you guys a movie. Resellers out doing things. Yeah. Well, this was fun. I hope you guys got something out of it. It was good to see you, Mr. Douglas.
Yes, nice to see you, ladies. Yeah. So real quick, we'll recap. We talked about evaluating your costs, market research, defining your profit margin, accounting for platform fees. We offered the option of dynamic pricing strategies, talked about leveraging analytics, customer perception, value perception, bundle and bulk pricing, adjusting for international markets, and then, to close out, always regularly reevaluate your pricing and your strategies. But try different things, be willing to learn, be willing to adapt, do what works for you.
Good for you, Carla.
Awesome. Perfect.
Good for you.
You're
so funny. She just said there's new bins downtown.
New bins in downtown San Diego.
Looks like, Doug, you need a field trip with your San Diego peeps.
Yeah, maybe so. We'll do it.
You need some footage so Trish can become the Steven Spielberg of resellers.
Exactly what I want to be, the Steven Spielbergs of resellers.
Got to do the zoom up shot that he does. I love that shot. Zzz.
Thank you all. It was fun. Hey, anyone who's using List Perfectly, come to Mastermind tomorrow morning, 9. I don't know what we're discussing, but we'd love to have you. And I know
9
you guys,
Eastern. 6
I was just going to say, I know you guys on the West Coast, that's 6 a.m., so don't feel obligated, but we'd love to have you sometime. What is happening tomorrow on Listing Party? Let's look real quick. So tomorrow on Listing Party,
the impact of reviews on online selling with Mastermind.
Nice.
Oh, it's Thursday. Thursday's a light day. Customer support 411 is tomorrow.
And then what about Friday? Anything?
Oh, yeah. Friday we have the Mastermind, customer support, and then Kathy's going to be on the Friday Live with Claire and Amanda.
Yeah. Yes. See, I knew there was something we were forgetting. Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So everybody, this Friday right here on YouTube, Kathy's going to be the special guest for the Clara and Amanda show.
And then on Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific, we have Star and True Crime, and they're going to talk about satanic panic in the 1980s and 90s.
Oh, Doug's going to have to go.
I'm gonna have to go in weigh in on that one, ladies and gentlemen.
You really are, Doug.
All right.
All right, cool.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, thanks everybody. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for showing up. And
Give
thank
us a
you,
thumbs
ladies.
up, please.
Give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up. And
Please.
keep an eye out, and we'll see you next time.